In this video, I'm going to talk about two more examples of inequalities with absolute values. The first one is the absolute value of v is greater than 16. Well, we can just use the definition in the book. So we can say that it would either be negative v is greater than 16 or v is greater than 16. And we need to solve for both and just test the limits. So if I divide both sides by a -1 to make it a positive v, I get v is less than -16, and I have v is greater than 16. Let's draw the region and make sure we got it. So I'm interested in -16 and 16. Both of these, I don't actually want to include the point. It's not actually the point. And you want all of the values that are less than -16. So we're interested in this region here, region 1. All the values that are greater than 16, we're interested in this. I'll call it region 3, and this would be region 2. We know that -16 and 16 is not actually going to work. You can see that if you plug that in, it's not going to equal 16, so it's not greater than 16. So let's see what happens if I pick a number that is in region 1. So I need a number that's less than 16. Let's call it, I don't know, -20, and see what happens. So plugging in the original equation, original inequality, absolute value of -20 is greater than 16, and that is true. So that's a true statement, so I want to include that region. Now, what about the other region, region 3 here? Numbers that are greater than 16, let's just pick 20. So 20 is a number that's greater than 16. Let's plug it in and see if it works. So the absolute value of 20 is greater than 16. Yep, that's true. Okay, so that's a true statement. All right, to prove to you that region 2 is not going to work, in case you're worried, you can plug in 0. That is a number between -16 and 16, and you can see that the absolute value of 0 is not greater than 16. So we know that this region is false. Okay, so what is the region that we want to answer? From -infinity to 16, not including that, and from 16 to infinity, not including 16. So I can write it as -infinity to -16, not including 16, or 16 to infinity. And both of these will work. So that would be my final answer there. Okay, so I hope that helps with that type of problem. You can skip as many steps as you want, but I'm just trying to explain how you might do it. All right, let's look at this one. The absolute value of 2w minus 3 is greater than or equal to -2. So you might notice that something is already strange about this problem, and that is we have the absolute value of an expression, and it's saying that it's greater than to equal to -2. Well, absolute value always makes things positive, right? So no matter what value of w that I put in, this will always be greater than a negative number, okay? This will always be greater than a negative number. So just because this is greater than a negative number, w is all real numbers. All real numbers. Okay? It automatically, no matter what I pick, it's going to always be that way. Now you can do the algebra and you'll find the same thing, but I don't want to drag you through that. It's better to just by inspection see that that's going to happen. Now, previously, I showed you an example up here, and I'll get rid of some of our work so you can see it more clearly. Here, you had -2 times absolute value is less than or equal to -6. Now, we're talking about if the absolute value is isolated, if it's totally isolated, and then it says the opposite is greater than a -6, then that's when it's all real numbers, okay? It's always going to be greater than a negative number, all right? there's not much to be done here. I mean, you can solve it algebraically and you'll find the same thing, but just identifying that any expression in an absolute value is always greater than a negative number. It can't not be. The smallest this expression could be is 0. So that would be the only thing. That'd be the smallest thing it could possibly be. Smallest number it could possibly be. Okay. So I hope that helps. It's a little confusing, but I hope that helps when you're working on your problem set to understand why something like this would be all real numbers. Okay. So again, please reach out if you're confused at all, and I will address questions then. All right. Have a good day.